Good day, friends. Today is the 20th of November 2019. It's Wednesday. This is chapter 1 of Seer or Nicolaas van Rensburg, Messenger of God. Nicolaas Pieter Johannes Janse van Rensburg was born on the 30th of August 1864 near the town called Wolmaranstad on the family farm Rietkuil, where he spent his childhood. Like most children of his day, he grew up in difficult and turbulent times. At the age of 7, he started his schooling, which lasted a mere 20 days, for his father needed his help on the farm. From that time, he never had any formal education again. From a tender age, he was known to be different, timid and reserved, and never took part in the mischievous pranks of boys his age. Nor did he have any formal interest in farming. He mostly enjoyed listening to his mother reading to him from the Bible. By means of the Bible, his mother was able to teach him with difficulty to read the book by spelling and deciphering the words one at a time. From that time until his death, the Bible was the only book he ever read, and had no interest whatever to read anything else, for he believed other books or newspapers were worldly things and did not spiritually enhance a person. This made his knowledge and visions of world affairs all the more astonishing, for by only reading the Bible over a period of 55 years, he accurately forecast what would happen worldwide in the future. His mother, Anna Catharina van Rensburg, was a quiet, sensitive and soft-spoken woman, and health-wise not very strong. Nicolaas van Rensburg did not only take after his mother, but also inherited her frailness. This was the main reason why there was such a strong bond between them until her death. Just like his mother, he disliked violence to such an extent that he could not even stand seeing an animal being slaughtered. It is therefore an enigma why he joined the Boer forces during both wars and stayed throughout until the end, even though he foresaw the disastrous outcome. He is also the only soldier in history who never shot at or killed any of his enemies. He never carried a gun. Many who did not understand his gift of prophecy shrugged their shoulders and quoted Shakespeare. There are more things in heaven and on earth than are dreamed of in your philosophy. When he was still a toddler, his mother noticed that her son could see things, but he was then still too young to grasp and understand what was happening to him. His mother believed that if this gift was from God, her son would understand at a later stage, even though she had always wondered how great this gift was that her son received, and asked him many times what he was seeing that made him so unhappy. He only stood staring at her with his deep penetrating blue eyes and could never utter a word. The look in his eyes was such that she wanted to take him to her and hug him. Many people have said that his eyes put fear into them and did not want to look into them. Others again say that they have never seen such sad eyes. It was as though he looked at you from an infinite depth through you, as if he saw something far away, which brought the sadness to his eyes. How heavily this burden of prophet or seer rested on his shoulders, nobody would know, but at the age of 20 he had already started graying and was chosen as an elder in his church the following year. At 30, neighboring farmers older than him called him Oom Nicolaas, oom meaning uncle in English, and is widely used among Afrikaners as a sign of respect for somebody older than oneself, even though not one's immediate family. A female was likewise addressed as tante or tant, meaning aunt, while peers usually addressed each other as neef or nig, meaning cousin. An Afrikaans writer, Johannes Meintjies, who had made a study of Nicolaas van Rensburg, put it this way: It is as if Nicolaas van Rensburg had never known any childhood or teenage years, as if he was born old, and one could not help but feel awe and respect towards him. His mother was a woman who kept to herself and many times looked herself in her room to study the Bible. This love of the Bible and the knowledge thereof she always shared with her son, Nicolaas. One day when the minister remarked to her how obvious and great the resemblance between her and her son was, she said, "I know, Reverend, I have the feeling that Nicolaas will become a great and well-known preacher one day." She probably knew something, as mothers sometimes do. Only at one time during his childhood, he was 7 years old, did she have a glimpse of his gift of prophecy, because she had passed away long before Nicolaas became known as a seer and a legend in his lifetime. Nicolaas van Rensburg. Nicolaas' father, known as Willem, or Kort, short, Koos. Koos being an abbreviation of Jacobus or Jacob, was a very rugged man and had no time for cowardice. As a teenager, he was part of the Great Trek and had to face many hardships and dangers, and when he arrived in the Transvaal, he settled on a farm which he called Reedpool. It therefore came as a shock to him when he discovered that his youngest son, Nicolaas, was not to follow in his footsteps. He wanted tough and rugged sons who could, like him, take on the struggle of life with no sympathy towards or from anyone. He never showed sympathy, and the workers on his farm experienced this. He therefore made Nicolaas a shepherd, for he believed that was all he could do. Nicolaas therefore left home every morning to herd the sheep. He carried his food and Bible with him, and while looking after the sheep, he struggled with the reading of the Bible, and as a result, he eventually read through it many times and could remember lengthy passages. The Van Rensburg family was very poor, and to subsidize his meager income, Koos had to leave the farm many times with his wagon loaded with farm products and tools he had made to barter for food. During these times, his wife and 4 children were alone on the farm, and Annie, his wife, being of timid nature, experienced these times as a nightmare, for there were many raided gangs roving around the countryside, robbing and plundering. Dream vision. It was during one of these times when Koos was absent on a trip that Nicolaas had one of his visions. A very loyal worker, Moos, working for the Van Rensburg family, knocked on the kitchen door one evening. The children were already asleep. Moos warned Nicolaas' mother he had heard that one of the gangs who roamed the countryside was going to attack his family farm that evening and murder them all. Nicolaas' mother was numb with shock, for although knowing about these roving, plundering gangs, she never expected that they would be attacked. She immediately woke the children and told them that they must get ready to leave for a neighboring farm. Nicolaas, when his mother woke him, sat still for a moment, staring. He then said to her, "It will not be necessary, mother, for God appeared to me in a dream, saying that we must stay home, for he will protect us. As long as father is away, we must stay." The 7-year-old Nicolaas was calm and spoke with confidence, a confidence which his mother had never heard before. She wanted them to leave immediately, but Nicolaas told her, "You, Peter, and the girls can go. I am staying home." His mother's impression was that God wanted her to protect her home and children unto death. She then decided that this was what she would do. She took her 4 children to the front room of the house, made them lie down, covered them with blankets, took the old musket and waited. Nicolaas's brother and 2 sisters went to sleep immediately, but he stayed awake with his mother. Everything was quiet by sunrise. No attack had taken place. At first light, Nicolaas's mother looked through the window and saw the gang outside. For some inexplicable reason, they never attacked, and as she looked, she saw them turn and run away as if they were frightened by something or somebody. She could never find out why they never attacked the house or why they suddenly ran away. But from that day, she believed more in her son's gift to see and accepted that he received visions from God because he trusted in God so much and studied the Bible diligently. A lifetime of pain, anxiety, and sorrow. Nicolaas van Rensburg eventually came to understand this gift he had, a gift which would bring him a lifetime of pain, anxiety, and sorrow, for being able to see into the future is not always beneficial. He also realized he could not use this gift to enrich himself, for then it would be taken away, and he also realized that the message which he would receive through this gift was far too precious to his people, as he had to warn them of their future. Although he was a timid person, his patriotism was very strong at the age of 12. And as he grew older, it became like a burning flame within his heart. This burning patriotism became more of a burning desire when he saw how his people would be oppressed, downtrodden, and how traitorous some of his own would be. The Boers were first oppressed by Britain, thereafter by world leaders, and lastly by their own political leaders. He also saw division amongst these people, rebellion, brothers fighting brothers with blood flowing, drafts, poverty, world wars, and then the first of 2 republics. In one of these visions, he saw twilight descending over this country, a vision he also saw just before he passed away, but this time he saw twilight becoming darkness. Shortly after this last vision, he told a visiting member of the family, "There will be more treason, more abuse. Yes, I see division and more flowing of blood than during the rebellion." During the 1914 rebellion, the Boers took up arms and sided with Germany. This is not just our blood, but I also see an unbelievable miracle happening. When I saw this miracle, I knew only then that the struggle of my people for freedom and a free country, a republic of their own, will be fulfilled, and then it will be the end of the time of my visions. And that is the end of chapter 1. Be blessed. Remember, read your own Bible. Likely more to be the old translations and not the new ones. And that will help you not to be misled by the misleading factor of this world. Cheers.